Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Aditi Lumba with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches 3 high-end COVID-19 testing facilities to boost capacity by almost 10,000 each per day. India managed global pandemic better than many countries across the world, says Prime Minister. Government plans to establish COVID testing facility in every district of the country. India hands over 10 broad-gauge diesel locomotives to Bangladesh to enhance bilateral trade and connectivity. Centre releases GST compensation of over 1,65,000 crore rupees for states and union territories for the last fiscal year. And first batch of Rafale jets leave from France to be inducted in Indian Air Force on 29th July. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched 3 high-throughput COVID-19 testing facilities via video conferencing today. These facilities are located at the National Institutes of Indian Council of Medical Research at Kolkata, Mumbai and Noida. He said these high-tech testing facilities will boost the testing capacity by almost 10,000 daily tests in each of the 3 cities. He said more number of tests will assist in early detection and treatment, which will bolster the fight against coronavirus.
देश के करोड़ों नागरिक कोरोना वैश्विक महामारी से बहुत बहादुरी से लड़ रहे हैं। आज जिन हाईटेक स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट टेस्टिंग फैसिलिटी का लॉन्च हुआ है, उससे पश्चिम बंगाल, महाराष्ट्र और उत्तर प्रदेश को कोरोना के खिलाफ लड़ाई में और ताकत मिलने वाली है। साथियों, दिल्ली एनसीआर, मुंबई और कोलकाता आर्थिक गतिविधियों के भी बड़े सेंटर हैं। यहाँ देश के लाखों युवा अपने कैरियर को, अपने सपनों को पूरा करने आते हैं। अब तीनों जगह टेस्ट की जो उपलब्ध कैपेसिटी है, उसमें 10,000 टेस्ट की कैपेसिटी और जुड़ने जा रही है। अब इन शहरों में टेस्ट और ज्यादा तेजी से हो सकेंगे।
The Prime Minister added that these labs will not be limited to testing for COVID, but in future will also be able to test for hepatitis B and C, HIV, dengue and several other diseases. Mr. Modi emphasized that due to timely decisions taken by the government, India is better placed in comparison with many other countries in terms of deaths due to COVID.
देश में जिस तरह सही समय पर सही फैसले लिए गए, आज उसी का परिणाम है कि भारत अन्य देशों के मुकाबले काफी संभली हुई स्थिति में है। आज हमारे देश में कोरोना से होने वाली मृत्यु बड़े बड़े देशों के मुकाबले काफी कम है। वहीं हमारे यहाँ रिकवरी रेट अन्य देशों के मुकाबले बहुत ज्यादा है और दिनों दिन सुधार भी हो रहा है। आज भारत में कोरोना संक्रमित होने के बाद ठीक होने वालों की संख्या करीब 10 लाख पहुंचने वाली है।
The Prime Minister said it was imperative for the country to develop corona-specific health infrastructure at a fast pace. He noted that the centre had announced a package of 15,000 crore at the beginning of this health menace. Mr. Modi said the country now has more than 11,000 COVID facilities and more than 11 lakh isolation beds. Speaking about the testing facilities, the Prime Minister said the country had only one COVID testing centre in January. He mentioned in a small span of time there are almost 1,300 such labs in the country now. The Prime Minister forewarned people to be cautious during the celebration of festivals in order to keep the virus contained. He underlined that the benefits of PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana should reach the poor on a timely basis and added that till the time a vaccine is developed, people should adhere to the health guidelines following 2 गज की दूरी, wearing masks and hand sanitization.
हमारे देश के टैलेंटेड वैज्ञानिक कोरोना वैक्सीन के लिए तेजी से काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जब तक कोई प्रभावी दवा या वैक्सीन नहीं बनती, तब तक मास्क, 2 गज की दूरी, हैंड सैनिटाइजेशन की हमारा एकमात्र विकल्प है। एक प्रकार से एकमात्र हथियार है। हमें खुद भी बचना है और घर में छोटी बड़ी आयु के सभी परिजनों को भी बचाना है। मुझे विश्वास है कि कोरोना के खिलाफ लड़ाई हम सभी मिलकर लड़ेंगे भी और जीतेंगे भी.
The launch ceremony of the 3 high-throughput testing facilities was also attended by Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, Chief Ministers of Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and West Bengal, along with ICMR Director General Dr. Balram Bhargav. The Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said the government has planned to establish COVID testing facility in every district in the country. The Health Minister informed that ICMR started validation centres at 24 places in the country for granting easy and speedy approvals to novel testing and treating techniques. Speaking at the launch ceremony of high-throughput testing facilities at Noida, Mumbai and Kolkata, the Minister said these facilities will be able to test more than 10,000 COVID samples every day. Dr. Harshvardhan said, under the guidance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India undertook a preemptive approach towards containment of COVID-19. The Health Minister said 97% of the country has easy access to testing facilities today. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, who attended the event via video conference, thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for making this facility available in the state. More from our correspondent.
He also thanked Prime Minister Modi for his continuous support in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Thackeray informed that the Maharashtra government is planning to set up immunological labs and research centers in the state and appealed to the Prime Minister to provide help for the same. He said starting March there were 2 labs but now there are 130 testing labs in the state and this high throughput facility is an upgrade of the testing facilities available in the state. Mr. Thackeray informed that last week the state government started Chase the Virus campaign in Mumbai. The high throughput COVID-19 testing facility located at Parel in Mumbai has been set up strategically by ICMR and National Institute for Research in Reproductive Health. The machine is fully automatic and is based on the TCR testing platform. This will help reduce the risk of the infection among laboratory staff as it can be operated with limited human intervention. Sweetie Jain, AR News, Mumbai.
Total recoveries from COVID-19 today surpassed 9 lakh mark. With this, recovery rate stands at 63.92% in the country. The case fatality rate has further declined to 2.28% in the country. The Health and the Family Welfare Ministry today said a total of 9,17,568 people have recovered in India so far and 31,991 recoveries have been reported in the past 24 hours. The Health Ministry said highest 49,931 new cases of COVID-19 have been registered in the country in one day, taking the total number of cases to 14,35,453. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 4,85,114. In a single day, 708 deaths have been reported, taking the nationwide toll to 32,771. In yet another spike, the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir recorded 615 fresh cases of COVID-19 in last 24 hours, taking the total number of positive cases to 17,920. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that 16 more people lost their battle against COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of people who died of the dreaded virus so far to 324 in the Union Territory, which include 301 from Kashmir and 23 from Jammu Division.
The Delhi government today said a total of 613 new confirmed cases of coronavirus have been reported in the city in one day. The total number of COVID-19 cases in Delhi is 1,31,219. Presently, there are 10,994 active cases in Delhi. The Delhi government said a total of 1,16,372 people affected by coronavirus have been cured so far, and the recovery rate reached 88.68% in the city. In a single day, 1,497 people have recovered and 26 deaths have been registered in Delhi, taking the toll to 3,853. Uttar Pradesh breached the 6-figure mark in daily testing with 1,06,962 tests conducted yesterday. With this, it has become the first state in the country to conduct more than 1 lakh COVID tests in a single day. More from our correspondent.
Additional Chief Secretary Home Avnish Awasthi said that around 20 lakh COVID tests have been conducted in the state till date, and very soon it is going to become the state with highest number of tests in country. Static booths to test suspected COVID patients using antigen kits have been made functional in various districts across the state. With 3,578 new cases in last 24 hours, the state is currently having 26,204 active COVID patients, and more than 42,000 patients have been discharged after proper recovery. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has instructed many additional Chief Secretary rank officers to visit different divisions and report after reviewing the health services. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
The Gujarat Pollution Control Board GPCB has decided to enhance its biomedical waste facilities in view of COVID-19 pandemic. Our correspondent reports that at present 20 common treatment plants are currently operational throughout the state where biomedical wastes including COVID-19 waste are being processed on a daily basis. A report from our correspondent.
Gujarat Pollution Control Board is facilitating the processing of over 33 tons of biomedical waste on a daily basis across the state. During this pandemic, it includes nearly 20 tons of COVID-19 waste. A senior official from GPCB told AIR that Ahmedabad has reported the highest number of COVID-19 cases in the state, and also the highest amount of COVID waste is generated from Ahmedabad. So the board has decided to double the waste processing capacity of Ahmedabad and Mehsana Common Treatment Plant. At present, both the plants have the capacity to treat biomedical waste up to 24 tons, which will be enhanced to 51 tons in the coming days. He said, at present the state holds the capacity of processing biomedical waste up to 73 tons on daily basis. Aparna Khun, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Karnataka, Deputy Chief Minister Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayan inaugurated a mega 6,500-bed COVID care centre in Bengaluru International Exhibition Centre today. The bed is meant for asymptomatic and mildly symptomatic COVID patients in Bengaluru. Out of 6,500 beds, 5,000 is for public and 1,500 for the frontline warriors who contract the virus in the line of duty. A report from our Bengaluru correspondent.
The city corporation has issued orders today allowing opening up of shops in the area surrounding City Market, which is situated in an area with dense population in the narrow lanes. The traders associations had appealed to the Chief Minister to allow them to open shops which remained closed for close to over 2 months now. The shops around city markets can open with conditions that shops on either side of the lanes have to open on alternative days. Only those with masks should be allowed. Every shop should have facility to provide sanitizers and conduct thermal mapping. The Traders Association have also been told to keep their premises clean and provide proper place to dispose of masks, gloves and other disposables. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Tamil Nadu, the total caseload of COVID-19 infection has crossed 2,20,000 with close to 7,000 people confirmed positive for the virus today. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy launched today the distribution of free masks to all families through the public distribution system. More from our correspondent.
The free masks are being given in the first phase to over 69 lakh families covering all urban local bodies outside Chennai. The remaining areas will be covered in the next phase. The scheme is being rolled out as mask is the most effective and the most feasible preventive tool against the virus that are available as of now. There are 2 crore 8 lakh ration cards in the state comprising over 6 crore and 74 lakh family members. All will be given 2 reusable masks each. The total cost is about 30 crore rupees and it is being said that the benefits far outweigh the cost. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In Manipur, 51 persons were confirmed as new positive cases while 42 persons were discharged from hospitals after they tested negative for COVID-19 during the last 24 hours. More from our correspondent.
The recent local transmission of COVID-19 in Manipur was reported first in Thoubal district after some quarantine centers volunteers got the virus from quarantine inmates. After that incident, now the local transmission is reported at many places of Manipur and other government offices including State Chief Minister's Secretariat, Manipur University, State's reputed hospitals, Regional Institute of Medical Science, Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Science and many district hospitals have also reported positive of inpatients, doctors and other healthcare staffs through local transmission. Considering the trends of local transmission, the state government has initiated more strict complete lockdown and curfew throughout the state. This is JJ Thoksom from Imphal for AIR News.
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Uma Kumar, Head of Rheumatology Department, AIIMS, suggested to people to follow social distancing, hand hygiene and cough etiquettes.
जो तरीके हैं जिनसे ये कंट्रोल में पाया जा सकता है वो है सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, रेस्पिरेटरी हाइजीन और या फिर कॉफ एटिकेट्स बोल देते हैं जिसमें खांसते और छींकते वक्त मुंह को कवर करना है, और हैंड हाइजीन, अपने हाथों को बहुत फ्रीक्वेंटली वॉश करना है साबुन पानी से या फिर हैंड सैनिटाइजर का इस्तेमाल करना है.
President of the Public Health Foundation of India, Dr. K. Srinath Reddy, said India is in a much better position as compared to the rest of the world as far as COVID-19 cases are concerned, and the measures taken are yielding results.
अब तक जो नतीजे निकले हैं उससे पता चलता है कि ये वायरस का प्रभाव को रोकने में हम काफी कामयाबी हासिल कर चुके हैं दूसरे देशों के मुकाबले में. आज का हालात जो है उसमें कोई संशय नहीं है कि हमारा हालात दूसरे देशों के मुकाबले में बेहतर है इस वायरस को डट के मुकाबला देने में.
You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches 3 high-end COVID-19 testing facilities to boost capacity by almost 10,000 each per day. India managed global pandemic better than many countries across the world, says Prime Minister. Government plans to establish COVID testing facility in every district of the country. India hands over 10 broad-gauge diesel locomotives to Bangladesh to enhance bilateral trade and connectivity. Centre releases GST compensation of over 1,65,000 crore rupees for states and union territories for the last fiscal year, and first batch of Rafale jets leave from France to be inducted in Indian Air Force on 29 July. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Railways Minister Piyush Goyal flagged off virtually to Bangladesh 10 broad-gauge diesel locomotives in a handing-over ceremony held today. From the Bangladesh side, Railway Minister Mohammad Noorul Islam Sujan and Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Abul Kalam Abdul Momen received the locomotives on behalf of their government. The handing over of these locomotives under grant assistance from India fulfills an important commitment made during the visit of Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to India in October last year. Speaking on the occasion, the External Affairs Minister highlighted the depth of time-tested India-Bangladesh ties based on mutual trust and respect. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal underscored the significance of railway cooperation in enhancing bilateral trade and connectivity and in further boosting the economic partnership between the two countries. More from our Dhaka correspondent.
Handing over 10 diesel locomotives to Bangladesh today by India is yet another indicator of the growing cooperation between the two countries in the railway sector. Railways is a key component of cross-border transportation, regional connectivity and trade benefiting both the countries. India has undertaken several railway projects in Bangladesh like construction of new lines, bridges, opening up of the non-functional old railway routes. While the immediate benefit of railway connectivity in maintaining the supply chain between the two countries are obvious, the long-term benefits for both the neighboring countries are equally important. Rajesh Jha for AIR News, Dhaka.
Defence Ministers' dialogue between India and Indonesia was held in New Delhi today. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh led the Indian delegation, while the Indonesian delegation was led by their Defence Minister General Prabowo Subianto. The dignitary is in India for strengthening the ties between the two maritime neighbours. During the talks, Mr. Rajnath Singh reiterated the long history of mutually beneficial interactions between the two countries with a tradition of close political dialogue, economic and trade linkages, as well as cultural and people-to-people interactions. Conveying satisfaction on the military-to-military interactions, the minister indicated that the defence cooperation between India and Indonesia has witnessed an upswing in the recent years.
The central government has released GST compensation of 13,806 crore rupees to state for March 2020. Taking this amount into account, entire GST compensation for the previous financial year has been released to the states. The total amount of compensation released for the year 2019 and 20 is 1,65,302 crore rupees. The amount of cess collected during the same time was 95,444 crore rupees. Government utilized the balance of cess amount collected during 2017 and 18 and 2018 and 19 in order to release the compensation for 2019-20. The central government employees retiring during COVID-19 pandemic will be receiving provisional pension till their regular pension payment order (PPO) is issued and other official formalities completed. This was stated by Minister of State for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Dr. Jitendra Singh. He said because of the disruption in the official work due to the pandemic and the lockdown, some of the employees who had retired during this period may not have been provided with PPO. He said a decision has been taken in order to avoid a delay in the start of regular pension. The rules may be relaxed to enable seamless payment of provisional pension and provisional gratuity till the regular PPO is issued.
Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister Sadananda Gowda today launched 4 schemes of the Department of Pharmaceuticals for promotion of domestic manufacturing of bulk drugs and medical device parks in the country. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Gowda said this is in line with the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his clarion call for making India Atmanirbhar in pharma sector. For this, the government has approved 4 schemes, 2 each for bulk drugs and medical device parks. This opens the door for critical API production and manufacturing of high-end medical devices. The minister exhorted the industry and the states to come forward and participate in these schemes. Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar will dedicate the Guinness World Record to the people on the eve of Global Tiger Day 2020 tomorrow. The record recognizes the country's efforts in monitoring its wild tiger population as the world's largest camera trap survey of wildlife. India now has nearly 70% of the global tiger population. The event is expected to be joined by around 500 participants from across the country. The minister is likely to launch the new website and outreach journal of the National Tiger Conservation Authority. The heads of the governments of tiger range countries had resolved to double the tiger population by the year 2022.
Atmanirbhar Bharat App Innovation Challenge has seen a very enthusiastic response from tech entrepreneurs and startups from across the country. A total of 6,940 entries have been received across the 8 categories identified. These include 3,939 from individuals and about 3,001 from organizations and companies. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had launched the challenge on 4th of this month and 26 July was the last date of receipt of entries. This App Innovation Challenge is the right opportunity for Indian tech developers, entrepreneurs and companies to build for India at a scale that is unparalleled anywhere in the world. Consumer Affairs Minister Ram Vilas Paswan launched the Bureau of Indian Standards mobile app, BIS Care today. He also launched 3 portals on standardization, conformity assessment and training of EBIS. The mobile app BIS Care can be operated on any Android phone and consumers can check the authenticity of the ISI marked and hallmarked products through the application. Customers can also lodge complaints using this medium. Mr. Paswan said that the government is also working on a plan to implement One Nation, One Standard scheme in the country in order to curb instances of substandard products being sold to consumers. Madhya Pradesh Board of Secondary Education MPBSE today declared the class 12th results. This year too, girls have outperformed boys. A report.
In the class 12 board examination in Madhya Pradesh, 2,77,000 students have received first division, 1,61,000 in second division and 14,000 students have passed in third division. More than 73% girls have passed in the state while the number of boys who passed is 64%. A total of 121 students have been included in the merit list of the first 10 students of each subject. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has announced to give 25,000 rupees and citation to meritorious students for purchasing laptop. At the same time, Ruk Jana Nahi means no stopping scheme has been implemented for the students who failed the exam. Students falling in this scheme will be given the opportunity to take the exam again. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Rajasthan, Governor Kalraj Mishra has returned the proposal of the State Cabinet to convene a special session of the Legislative Assembly with 3 points of consultation. This is the second time in 1 week when the Governor has returned the government's proposal to convene the Assembly session. On the other hand, the Congress Legislature Party has sent a letter to the President seeking his intervention in this matter. It was stated in the letter that the government wants to call the session to discuss the various economic challenges and COVID situation for taking appropriate decisions.
The governor has said that if the government wants to bring confidence motion, then it can become a suitable basis for convening the session in the short notice. If not so, the governor called answers from the government on 3 points. On behalf of the Raj Bhavan, it has been said that the assembly session should be called after giving 21 days clear notice. If under any circumstances the proceedings of the assembly are taken to get the confidence motion, then the entire process should be done in the presence of the Principal Secretary of the Department of Parliamentary Affairs. The entire proceedings should also be video recorded and broadcast live. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
The first batch of 5 Rafale jets flew out of France and will arrive in India on Wednesday. The fighter jets will officially be inducted and join the Indian Air Force fleet in Haryana's Ambala on July the 29th. The fighter jets built by French aviation firm Dassault took off from the Mérignac Air Base in southern France's Bordeaux. The 5 aircraft will be the first tranche of the 36 planes bought by India from France in a 59,000 crore rupee intergovernmental deal in 2016.
The Rafale fighter jets are capable of carrying a range of highly effective weapons, including the Meter air-to-air missile and Scalp cruise missile. The Rafale jets will come with various India-specific modifications, including Israeli helmet-mounted displays, radar warning receivers, low-band jammers, and 10-hour flight data recording. The Air Force has readied the required infrastructure to welcome the jets in its lineup. Sobhagyakar, AIR News, Delhi.
India has lodged a strong protest with the Pakistan High Commission today on a reported incident where a Gurudwara has been claimed as the place of Masjid Shahid Ganj and attempts are being made to convert it to a mosque. Gurudwara Shahidi Asthan is the site of martyrdom of Bhai Taru Singh Ji at Naulakha Bazaar in Lahore, Pakistan. In response to a media query regarding the matter, External Affairs Ministry spokesman Anurag Srivastav said the Gurudwara is a historical place where Bhai Taru Ji made supreme sacrifice in 1745.
In Assam, over 22 lakh people are affected in the third wave of floods. In the state, the situation has improved slightly. One person lost his life today, taking the death toll to 103. Golpara, Dhubri, Barpeta are among the worst affected districts. Over 1 lakh hectares of crop areas are also marooned. In Bihar, normal life has been paralyzed from prevailing flood condition in 11 districts of the state. The worst affected districts are Darbhanga, Muzaffarpur, Golganj, Supaul and West Champaran. About 25 lakh people spread over 765 panchayats are reeling under the impact of the flood. Over 1,60,000 people have been evacuated so far. 29 relief camps have been set up for affected people. 3 helicopters of Indian Air Force dropped the dry food packets on the third consecutive day today to the marooned people. Presently, 25 teams of NDRF and SDRF are carrying out relief and rescue operations in the affected areas.
A look now at the weather forecast for tomorrow. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, minimum temperature will be 26 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 34 degrees. The city will have thunderstorm with rain. In Srinagar, minimum temperature will be around 19 degrees, maximum 32. The city will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between 18 and 29 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, temperature will hover between 18 and 31 degrees. It will experience mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Muzaffarabad will be partly cloudy with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature will be 24 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches 3 high-end COVID-19 testing facilities to boost capacity by almost 10,000 per day. India managed global pandemic better than many countries across the world, says Prime Minister. Government plans to establish COVID testing facility in every district of the country. India hands over 10 broad-gauge diesel locomotives to Bangladesh to enhance bilateral trade and connectivity. Centre releases GST compensation of over 1,65,000 crore rupees for states and union territories for the last fiscal year. And first batch of Rafale jets leave from France to be inducted in Indian Air Force on 29th July. And that is all in the evening news. Good night.